Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy and you are watching Winning So and So. Trying something else with my lighting today. I'm a fuss pot, folks. Sometimes when I look at the screen, it's going dark, it's going light, it's going light, it's going dark. And I have been very generously given a ring light. I'm going to lift it up, but it will change the lighting on the screen. Look, there it is. So I've got it. It literally is. See where my hand is? It's just there. It's shining on me, so it's actually not shining in my eyes because I was having fun with it shining in my eyes and thinking, I'm sure you can see ring lights in my glasses. I'm very sorry if you can. Anyhow, it's Saturday. I've been to the hairdresser. We got to the 7 to 8 weeks mark and it was my turn to go to the hairdresser today, and I think I've just about got rid of all the colour in my hair now. Look, I am now grey. I don't mind. I'm 63 next month. So loud really, isn't it? Anyhow, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has watched one of my videos lately. And there's been quite a few out, just because that's the way it's fallen. So thank you so much. And I think I've got about half a dozen comments to reply to. I've got right up to date with the comments when I was starting to feel better last Sunday evening. I'm still very congested, but I hate being ill and I'll fight it. Literally, I'll go into battle with it, with the cold, because I've just not got time to be ill. I've got too many lovely things to do. So I'm going to start with a new piece of fabric. I sent Hannah out to our local quilting store, Bugweeds, up north of York. And I said, can you just get me a fat quarter of bumbleberries? She did one better than that. She found a bolt end, just over 1 metre of bumbleberries. Look, can you see it there? So she's bought me that, and this is for me to practice more swoon quilt squares, because I've got some other bumbleberries and I thought if I have a plain I can just sort of practice the blending and get the measurements right, because I'm going to do the quilt in the Tula Pink fat quarters that I've got. I need a few more and I will get those as and when I come upon them. And I will find myself a lovely Tula Pink blender to go in the background. But the reason I sent Hannah to Bugweeds is, she's feeling for the bag, I needed some more embroidery thread because Hannah and George have decided to get their little boy George, there's a picture of George there, baptised next weekend, and they've asked me to make some bunting. And I knew I was making the bunting, and it's always the same, isn't it, whenever we're sewing something? We leave it to the last possible minute. So when I was in the States at Hobby Lobby, I'd bought the bits I needed. So I've got a lovely green, olive green ribbon there. And they said they wanted sort of green and white for the colours. So there we go. Now they match the colours that Hannah and Michael had when they got married. And Hannah went up and bought me some cottons, some threads, whatever you want to call them. I tend to call them cottons because that's what they were when I started to sew. I'm going to spin the camera around. I don't know quite how it's going to view, and I'm going to try and put it on some kind of time lapse so that you can see me setting up to do some machine embroidery. Now, let me show you what I use for machine embroidery. My hot favourites for machine embroidery are, now I have a Benina machine, so I can't say whether other machine manufacturers use this particular type of, or offer this particular type of embroidery, machine embroidery frame. I know that my machine does, and I know you can get non-generic machine embroidery hoops. This one is by Benina and it is the clamp frame, so the fabric is clamped inside here and you just lay it across and clamp it down and it pulls it really, really tight. Now, I find it, ever since I've got this, my ability to do machine embroidery on my machine has gone through the roof. I used to use this one, and this one is the one where you have to unscrew the thing here at the top. That just does not work at all. Well, it does work, but it didn't work for me. If I needed to use it, I've got it to use. But I much prefer this, because if I've got just a small area I want to embroider, you can actually tape your fabric down using, well, That was a tape that's fallen on the floor, but it's like a masking tape or a microporous tape. This is a rather lovely one by a company called Kimberbell. So I am going to start George with a green flag. So I need 18 flags altogether. I'm going to embroider a letter from his name on each individual flag. So I have marked out the bunting flags on the fabric. So we've got the embroidery unit on and it brings up a different screen. And on the screen, I'm just going to push it out of the way again so you can see it. There we go. I'm wanting to do an alphabet. So I'm going to press up and my machine comes up with a selection of different fonts. Now Hannah said they wanted a really simple classic font and I have 4 screens of fonts that I could use. Fancy ones, very heavily embroidered ones, and I think I actually like it's very Times New Roman font number 7, which I'm going to call up. And I only want to do one letter, which to start with, which will be the G. So I tick the G, and the G will now come up in a screen. Do you know, I'm popping back on now, and it's been ages since I sat in front of the camera because I thought on my way home from school, oh my gosh, I've got a bit of a vlog that I started that I have not finished. Now, going back, because I haven't looked at the footage and I know what was on it. Yes, I was making 2 things. I was making my lovely Mizoni jacket for the So Precious Fabrics in this. This is about all that is left. And I really don't know what to do with it, but I can't get rid of it. So I shall think of something. I shall think of something, folks. I shall think of a little something that I can make with it. So that was for the So Precious Fabrics challenge run by the Tomkat Stitchery company over in the States. And I was absolutely blown away because I won a prize. And I've never won a prize on a challenge before. And yet my name came out the hat this time. I was utterly blown away to receive that little bit of an Instagram message going, congratulations, you have won a prize. And I was like, whoa. So I have won 5 PDF patterns, 2 from I Am Patterns over in France and 3 from Ready to Sew, again over in France. And I'm just sorting out which patterns I am going to use. Now, I am thinking of using one of them with my lovely pink doll fabric that came last week. I have done an unboxing, but this time I wanted to do an unboxing with a difference. I have filmed it, but I'm not publishing it yet because it is not finished. Anyway, my precious fabrics, I made the Berlin jacket by Tessuti Patterns. I'm going to put some pictures of me wearing it. I'm going to come to the side here, so I can put it in here. And I'm absolutely over the moon with it. It is so comfortable to wear, and I feel really elegant, and I could wear it just with jeans, with a dress, and with it being multicoloured, it picks up the colours of virtually everything that I wear. Look, if I put it along here, like this, it looks great with this. And you actually, in the photographs here, put it on this side, in the photographs here, I'm just wearing a pink running top underneath it because I got to the 11th hour and thought, oh my gosh, I've taken no pictures. And last Monday, when the challenge finished, it was like, Hannah, quickly take some pictures for me. So she snapped some pictures for me. It's a really simple make, and I did change the make instructions very slightly. A lot of it was done where you overlap the seams like so, because the suggested fabric was a boiled wool, a fabric that wouldn't fray. I got a fabric that does fray. Look at this, it does fray. but I wanted to use it. So before I started, I overlocked every single edge. I didn't overlay it like that. It said it had a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So I very carefully sewed it together with a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and I ironed the seams flat. Down the front, I did top stitching. I think once you gain experience, and I'm not just going to say experience, I'm going to say confidence. Experience seems to suggest longevity. Confidence means that you're comfortable and you're happy and content to have a go. If you're uncertain and you're using a really special fabric, have a little play around first to see if you can get the seam the way you want it. But I was really confident, and along the back I actually did do some top stitching, and I top stitched down the front and down here, but I ironed it really carefully, and I knew that I could make the garment, and I knew I'd pick the right size. I can't even remember what size I made now. I think I made a small. I certainly wouldn't have made a medium. I don't think I made an extra small, because I wanted the ability to put something underneath it. Maybe if I wanted to put a jumper underneath, and then I could put the coat over the top. So I'm really, really delighted with that make. And what's more is, it is a precious fabric, and I sat on it in my stash for so long because I knew I wanted to get the right garment to make it with. And shall we say, the stars aligned, the planets aligned. This was the right time to make it. So the other thing that I've made is some bunting. Ta-da-ta-da. And as you can see, earlier on in this video, I was making bunting for George's christening. And we had the most fantastic day. I'm just going to put the odd little photograph in just so that you can see myself with George and some of his godparents. And just here's a lovely little shot coming up of George with his 2 great-grandmas. Sadly, I didn't get a picture of Oliver with his 2 great-grandmas. One is David's mum, and the other one is actually my father's widow. But in all fairness, Anne's grown up. Hannah, she's known Hannah since she was 3, so she sort of said, I want to be great-grandma, and come off it, why can't she be great-grandma? I mean, seriously, does it matter? It doesn't. And she was there, and it was just lovely to see her with Oliver. And in fact, the first time she run into Oliver was in the Queue to the Loos in Marks and Spencer's in York. And this is a much better way to spend time with your great-grandson. So, that just really takes me as to what I've done, and it seems that I've not done much sewing. So I really want to talk to you about a couple of plans that I've got. I've got great plans for my Beyond the Pink Door fabric, and I'm just holding fire on that, and you will see it soon. And I want to use one of the patterns I won with the So Precious challenge with that, because I thought it'd be quite a good way to combine the two, because both came at the same time. The other fabric is this one, and one pattern company's got something to make with the Beyond the Pink Door fabric, and the other company's got something I can make with this. And I wanted to make the Nick's dress for the christening, but guess what? I don't have enough to make the Nick's dress. I need 4.5 meters. I have 3.5 meters, and I thought, I love this fabric too much to actually cut into it and have a go. I just decided to leave it. And I don't know if anybody, it brings me around to something else I want to talk to you about, and that is time. Is it just me? Or are all of us just struggling for time? I mean, if anybody's got the formula to create 25 or 26,000 a day, just put it in the description box below, because I'd love it. And I'm struggling. And you could say that because I've not sewn every day for the past week, I've lost my sojo. Not a chance. Not a chance. I'd like to think of it more as a lack of sew time rather than a lack of sojo. I really don't like the term sojo. If you don't sew for a while, it doesn't matter. It just means you want a break. You might have done an awful lot of sewing. You might have spent a long time making some new garments for a function, or doing some sewing that was specific to something. And you just think, seriously, I really don't want to do it. Well, in my opinion, that is not losing your sojo. That is regrouping your brain. Giving your brain a rest, giving your hands a rest, giving your eyes a rest. Everybody needs to take a break. They need to take a break to breathe. You get stressed about something, you have a bit of self-care. Don't get stressed about your sewing. I've got it ready for the weekend. I always have a little bit of hand sewing. And this is my little pouch. Now, you'll have seen this loads of times on my videos. It's my little tiny mini project pouch that Adam really kindly sent me last Christmas. And in it has got some hand piecing. And I can take this on in the car, on a train, to a friend's house. It's just a little tiny bit of hand piecing. And I am going to show you how I do the piecing together, but now isn't the time for this because this video has covered so many different things. I don't want to cover another thing. But even if you pick up this, it's a little bit of sewing. But does it matter if you don't do it? No, it doesn't. Does it matter if you spend a week not sewing? You might be planning. You might be thinking about sewing. Just because you physically don't do it doesn't mean to say you've lost your sojo. It just means you're giving your brain a break. Maybe you don't have enough sew time or enough time to devote to your sewing. So never think you've lost your sojo. If you're as passionate about it, it won't go away. And I'm not saying if you so-calledly lose your sojo, you're not passionate about sewing. I'm just saying I don't like the term sojo. I think it's negative, and I don't like negativity. You're just having a break. You're having a break, having a break. Nothing more than that. And I know I'm being controversial here, and some of you might not like me for being it. Some of you might think, oh, that's a refreshing take on it. I haven't personally picked up a needle all weekend, and I'm absolutely frustrated. Look at my hands, I want to sew. I just haven't been able to. But what have I been doing? Well, I've been displaying my makes. I made some bunting for a christening I went to, and I made a cardigan I wore out with a family meal on Saturday. And things happen in your life and it just takes your time away. So that's why I call it a lack of sew time. And I love podcasts. I absolutely adore podcasts. And if you're just in that phase where you just need a break from sewing or you just don't want to pick up the needle, you can watch a vlog. But if you, I find that walks and runs are brilliant for clearing the mind. And I love a podcast. And there are so many beautiful, beautiful podcasts. Let me get my phone out and tell you some of the podcasts that I listen to. I shall do that, and I shall then link them in the description box below. Go into my library. So I like, oh wait a minute. Here we go. First of all, top of the list is, of course, the Love to Sew podcast, which is Caroline from Blackbird Fabrics and Helen from Helen's Closet. They have got such a library of podcasts that you can listen to because they've been doing this for years. Do listen in. And of course, there was an episode last year called Long Time Sewists. I'll put it in the description box below if I can find it. And yours truly is on it. So, of course, have to have Helen and Caroline. Shortly followed, or very closely followed, by Sam and Jess with the So What's New in the Biscuit tin. Oh, love it. If you like a biscuit, you'll love the first chat on that podcast. Talks about biscuits, but it very quickly comes back to sewing, and they've got some really good takes on things, and it really just gets your mind thinking. And then the other ones I've got down here is there is also, what's happened to it? Just because I've turned it off. Check your thread, sewing with threads, and there's another lovely one here that I like called Sew and Sew, and that is actually Benina doing a podcast. So I don't know if there's one that that's Janome doing or Faf or anybody else doing a podcast, but these podcasts are just so easy to listen to, and you can just get absorbed into them. There again. Thank you very much. How'd you go? Rude dog. I do like what we call Radio 4 over in the UK, which is a spoken radio station, so it's just a little bit like having Glory Find that on. So that's what I really, really do enjoy a podcast, and it keeps your mind thinking about sewing. So though you might not be doing your sewing, you could be having that really gentle time of thinking about your sewing, thinking about what you'd like to make, planning your time, planning your make. But don't forget, you also need time to celebrate your makes and celebrate what you've made. Wear them. You're always, every time you pick out, you might not be sewing at that moment, but you can pick something out of the wardrobe or look at something, or look at a quilt, or look at some embroidery, or look at something that you have made and think, I made that. Polish my halo time. I made that, I absolutely love it. That is so much more important. So please don't beat yourself up about anything, whether you are sewing, whether you're not sewing, just enjoy the absolute process of the art of sewing in whatever form you're taking it, whether you're doing it now or whether you're taking a break. I'm going to go for a run, and then I'm going to make the Bestie bag by Blackbird Patterns. Now, I do subscribe to one podcast. I do 2 Patreons. I Patreon 2 people. One of them is Stash Hub, because I absolutely believe in Stash Hub and I want to support Greg and Yvette. I want to support Doug and Yvette. But the other one I subscribe Patreon to is the Love to Sew podcast, because I get bonus episodes, and I am going to be making the Blackbird Fabrics Bestie bag. Now, I've been wanting to do this for ages, and I'm really sorry, Tamlin. I'm copying you. She put some pictures of herself when she'd gone away to London with her husband for a function, and she was wearing a Bestie bag, and I just thought, I've got to make it. I've got to make it. And I am going to make it in, oh my gosh, I should have 2 pieces of fabric here, well, you got one. Oh no, here. I'm going to make it in this lovely William Morris and this lovely William Morris. And I showed you earlier on that Hannah had bought some bumbleberry fabric for me when she nipped into bugweeds. And I've got loads of bits of bumbleberries over here, and I'm going to use those to sort of line it and contrast it. I'm going to try and use what I've got, says the woman who actually has an order over there from Purple Stitches for some bag making hardware. I didn't have the little buckley badge. Would you like to see what I got from Purple Stitches? Let me just go and get it. This is the first, apart from my Beyond the Pink Door box, this is the first sort of sewing package I've actually had for months, because I've not needed anything, because I'm trying to use up what I've got in the house. Oh, I'm making a right racket down here. I really don't know what's happening. I think oh, it's okay. I keep looking at the lighting. But outside it's horrendous. 1 minute it's sunny, 1 minute it's not. Oh. Oh, while I'm undoing this, I can tell you something else I'm going to be making. We're having a breast cancer fundraiser at school, and I'm going to be making some bunting for that event. Now, I have bought, oh, it's all in here. I hope I've bought the right things. If I haven't, I'm sure somebody will tell me I've bought the wrong things. But I needed some iron-on wadding to give the bag a little bit of substance, and I bought this sort of like quilty one, just because this could be quite fine. And I just thought if I ironed this on it, it would give it that little tiny bit more substance. I think what I might do is just do a tester on a corner before I commit myself. A colleague today has given me some iron-on interfacing. She's having a clear out at home, and she said, I don't know why I've got iron-on interfacing. And I thought, no, Jane, neither do I. But I bought the grey zip, everlasting zip, a length of zip, and I have a lovely card. I had the zip stoppers, and they put the zip stoppers on the beautiful card that they sent me. Put my name on it, hello Judith, my Sunday name. And I love the way they just wrap everything up. And then right at the bottom here there should be the buckle, because this is what I needed. This thing. That's what I needed. And I love this zip end that they do. Hold on. I love this zip end. It's my favourite. But the zip always comes with a zip end, and they send you this one. So that is Purple Stitches. I'll put the link in the description box below. So I hope you stuck with me through my pontifications there. I've been thinking long and hard about saying something, because I want to be positive about everything. I don't want negativity, and I want people to sort of enjoy their sewing, and there's nothing wrong with having a break from anything. Nothing at all. If you need a break, you have a break. I mean, you go on holiday and you probably don't sew when you go on holiday. I mean, not everyone's like me and goes on holiday and makes dresses. Some people just go away and enjoy themselves and sit on the beach, and other people go away and sew, and other people do everything. It's what makes the whole sewing community so unique and so special. Now, I'm publishing this hopefully as soon as possible, but I'm just going to say that anybody is at Alexandra Palace this coming Saturday, which is the 12th of October, please come and find me. I will be wearing this. You'll spot me a mile off wearing it, because I love it so much it needs to be worn. So if you're in Ali Pally this weekend, the Knitting and Stitching Show, please come and say hello. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed, commented, liked or watched one of my videos. I appreciate every moment that you spend watching me. And if you haven't yet subscribed, there's a link, there's a reminder, there's a little something down here. It would be lovely to have you on board. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye!